You'll be sent a variety of tutorials for your reference. Your designated customer success manager will also be reaching out to you. And if you log into your dashboard on the top right of the screen, you'll see a purple chat icon to speak to our support team. So we have a support team that continuously works to, in case of any issues while setting up post session, you may also have certain queries. Our team is there, or your success manager is also there to reach out to you. So you are always going to get support from our side. The agenda for today, of course, the most important thing, the performance management module setup, goal creations and approval, progress tracking towards those goals, catch-ups, reviews and reporting, and at the end of the session, we'll have a Q&A. Reiterating, at any point, if you have questions through the session, please use the Q&A box and I will be happy to assist you. So before we dive in, just want to check if you have any expectations from today's trading. You can put it across, or you can just raise your hand if it's only performance management that you've come for, and we can proceed. Great. Thank you so much. So let's begin. To begin with, how do we set up the performance management module? Now, before we begin, it's also important to understand certain terminologies, because that will help you understand how to set this up at a later stage. So I'll take you to certain terms that we use on the platform. So 3 steps to setting up the PM module. So one is defining goals. So broad category of goals that your employees will be accessed on. I'll also explain to you what these goals could be in the next slide. Defining the rating scale, the quantitative scale your employees will be measured on. So we have a rating scale right from 3 up to 10. It could be average, good, excellent, exceptional. So that could be the rating. And you can go right from 3 up to 10. Then finally, setting up the performance management cycle. So what duration do you want to take? So we have a lot of flexibility in setting this up. So when I say duration, you can do a 3-month, which could be like a Q1, Q2, Q3, 4, and so on. It could be for 6 months. It could be right up to 12 months. So you can also do a 4-month, 5-month, whatever duration you want to set up. It's available on the platform. Participants, if you want to have a certain department, let's say you want to only do a performance management cycle for the sales team, you can do that. If you want to take the entire organization, you can also do that. Employee roles, in this case, you could define who is the line manager, who is the super admin, who will be, approving these requests, or there could be someone who's set up as a performance manager who will also be looking into this. So I'll also take you through that shortly. And finally, the timeline. Timeline will give you an entire summary of what you've actually set up. So shortly, I'll be taking you through the platform, which will help you understand this better. But first, what are the goals? So what we've set as an example, of course, you can add more goals. We've just set 3 already, which will exist on the platform for you. So one is a competency goal, a goal based on set of demonstrable characteristics and skills that can enable and improve the performance of a job. So for example, innovative thinking, decision-making, teamwork. As a goal example, run 3 innovative experiments that aim to solve a workplace challenge. This could be a competency goal. Outcome goal, this is most widely used, a goal which leads to a measurable result. So it could be revenue growth. For example, generate $10,000 in upselling new features. And third could be a personal development goal. So if you want an employee to, work on certain skill sets, like, for example, improving public speaking, active listening. So, for example, setting up meaningful catch-ups with 5 colleagues from different functions. So these we've already defined. You can always add as many goals as you want. This is just as an example that we've set. Okay, then moving to rating scales. Now, what are the rating scales? As I mentioned, it can be customized from a 3-point to a 10-point scale. The labels and descriptions of rating scales can be edited as required. So you can, if I say 1 means bad, you could always put 1 as something else. It may not necessarily be bad. For goals that may not necessarily need a rating, you also have an option to set an NA. Okay, now we've understood what are goals, what are rating scales. Before I dive in here, I'll just quickly take you through the platform. If you can see my screen, just raise your hands. Sometimes it doesn't shift screens. Great. Okay, so before I begin with the platform, just to inform you that this is my demo account, which I use. And this is basically me with super admin access. So I'm sure that you will also be having super admin access if you're on this call. If not, your screen may look a little different if you're a line manager, but not a major difference because there are certain additional accesses given to a super admin. Okay, so now you'll see your left navigation panel here. Okay, we'll scroll down, keep scrolling. Okay, now you will see performance here. Now let's click and see what's there. So there's nothing. There's nothing right now because we haven't set up anything. Even if we check on reviews, there is nothing because nothing has been set up as yet. Okay, now let's move to what we've understood so far. The most important portion which you will be visiting often is the configuration. So configuration is where you will be setting up this most of your systems basis your company, right? So now since you're doing performance management, let's quickly look at performance management here. Okay, so when I click here, you see there's not configured because we haven't created anything yet. But what we see here is goal types. So as I mentioned, we have competency, outcome, personal development. We already have these three goals that are defined. If I want to add another goal, let's say I just create test goal, for example. I can create as many, I can delete these, I can rename, whatever flexibility you want is available here. Rating scales, as we had discussed, now there are 5 already defined here. Okay, let's say you want to have 10. You can just click on edit rating scale. You can just select 10 and you can keep adding. You can also customize these if you want. You can remove them. You can also add descriptions here. So meets expectation. You can say performance met, for example. Okay, so let's just keep it at 5 for now. Save changes. So you can see that now your goal types are already defined. Your rating scales are also defined and both have now saved. Okay, now going back to the platform, I'll make this easy. There are how to set up this cycle. So we've divided this into 4 sections, A, B, C, and D. Okay, now this may look a little complicated, but it's a very simple exercise. So first is creating a PM cycle and setting the duration. So what questions? What should the performance cycle be called? So again, you should ideally put something that is identifiable by you because you may be running 2 or 3 different cycles. So it's important that you put it. For example, if I'm doing something right now from April onwards, I would do maybe for 3 months, I would do Q2 performance cycle for the sales team as an example. Okay, how long do you want the performance cycle to run? So what's the duration? You want to run it for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, right? Up to 12. We have that option available. Assigning employees to the cycle. Should employees in probation be excluded? So in cases you don't want employees in probation to have targets or you don't want them to be on a performance management cycle, you can exclude them. Third is set permissions for goal creation, reviews, and calibration. So who should create goals? Do you want to create goals yourself? Do you want line managers to create goals for the employees? Do you want employees to create their goals? You have the flexibility to do all of that. Who should write reviews? Should the review be done by the employee as a self-review? Should the line manager review the employees, or should the super admin or the HR manager only do the employees, review the employees? And who should be involved in calibration? I'll take you through what calibration is at a later stage. But for now, we'll just go through these. And D is setting a timeline for critical cycle activities. So what are the deadlines for each part of the cycle? Okay, I'll also take you through what this means. So we'll be dividing it into 3 or 4 different portions, which I will show you. And do you want to send reminder notifications? So sometimes it's very cumbersome to send reminders to each employee, especially if you have, let's say, over 50 or 100 employees to, start putting in their goals or start reviewing themselves. So we have a system where you can automatically send reminders, and I will also show you that on the platform. So now I think let's move to the platform so I can show you exactly how this is set up. So any questions so far? If you have any questions, you can just put it in the Q&A box. If not, I will proceed. Okay, moving on. So now we've seen goal types, we've seen rating scales. Now the most important portion which you will be setting up is the performance management cycle. Okay, so now let's click here, create a new cycle. Okay, like I mentioned, let's say I do it for Q2, okay, which I've already selected. I can always name that. Okay, what is my start date? I want to select a start date, let's say from 1st May, for example. And I want to keep this cycle for, I want to do it for 3 months. Okay, so you see automatically the cycle dates have now come here. You don't have to manually do any calculation and calculate 3 months later. It will, the system and the platform will already do it automatically for you. Now, which employees you want to include in this cycle? Okay, so you click on manage list. Now, if you want to select a particular department, let's say, like I mentioned, you want to only select the Dubai Motor City team, and from there you want to select only the sales team. Okay, you can just directly filter that. Okay, now you can see these 3 employees and the sales team, they're already part of this cycle. Okay. First, I'll just remove all actually, because this automatically adds for everyone. You can just remove add. It's very simple. Just click here and click back here. Okay, now if I want to add certain employees, let's say Bruce Lee, let's say Barack Obama, I'm also adding my demo account because I'll need this at a later stage to show you how to add goals. Okay, now I've added 3 employees as a part of the cycle and I click done. Although it shows 1 year because it's one that I've selected. Okay, but now when I say done, it shows those 3 employees, that is Bruce Lee, Barack Obama, and Nathan demo account, which are a part of this cycle. Okay, so like I mentioned, there's a lot of flexibility. You can, instead of selecting each employee, from the sales team, if you've defined the employees' departments well on the platform, it is an easy exercise. So we always recommend that you set the departments correctly. So it will help you in the filtering process. Okay, so we are done with A, which is this. Now we go to B, which is goal setting. Now, select who can set goals. Okay, so here you can see that HR performance manager, it's mandatory. You cannot uncheck this. Okay. Now, if you want the line, if let's say you have 100 employees and there are about 10 line managers who handle 10 employees each. Okay. Now, you may want the line managers to set them, for their employees. Okay, because if you have different departments with different goals, it'll be tough for you to set goals for each of them. It will be a very time consuming process. So let's say in this case, I have the line managers also create goals for the employees who report to them. Now, if in this case, employees also can create goals for themselves. Okay, so let's say the line manager or you decide that, hey, let's also give the employees a chance. If let's say an employee wants to prove certain capabilities and says, I want to also work on certain additional goals, you can also give the options employees to add on more goals. Okay, so I'm enabling this also for now. Now, select review types for this cycle. Okay, so what does self-review mean? So this was the B portion, the goal setting. This is towards the beginning of the cycle. So since we start in May, usually this is done little before May, so towards end of April, before the cycle starts. And performance review is C, which is usually towards the end of the cycle. This is where towards say July, mid-July, you start reviewing basis what has been done. Okay. Now, self-review means that employees will have a chance to review themselves. So in simple terms, you tell the employee that, okay, your cycle is over. How do you think you've performed? Okay, so the employee will review him or herself as to how they perform. So let's say I enable this. Okay, line managers, it is mandatory for them to do reviews because we can't end at only employees reviewing themselves. There has to be their managers also who will be reviewing the employees. And who will calibrate the reviews? So HR performance manager. So calibration is basically adding another level over the employee and the line manager to uh, ensure that the reviews are fair. Okay, I will also take you through in detail what calibration means. And line managers can calibrate. So if you want to also have the line managers calibrate, you can also do that. Okay, now continuing. So now moving finally to D. Now D is extremely important because all your timelines are set in the in this duration. So you see that the performance cycle period 1st May to 31st July. So if your cycle is starting on 1st May, you want to have the goal setting done before the cycle, right? So let's say in my case here, I will take, let's say they start today, and by in the next maybe one day, they should set their goals, as because we have just a week left. Okay, goal approval. Now, if I put the same date here for goal approval, and if I proceed, it will not allow me to. Okay, because only once goal setting is complete, the goal approval will start. Okay, so 28th to 29th, let's say one day for goal approval. Now, what does goal approval mean? Once the goals are set, the employees will be notified that the goals have been set. On the Bayzat application, they will have a notification in the work section which says the goals have been set. Now, the employees too have to approve the goals. Let's say a line manager has set a goal which the employee feels that no, this is something that it's over ambitious right now, and we need some time for this. So they can always come back and change the goals and send it back to the line manager for the approval. Okay, then tracking, which is the review, which I said that this is the beginning of the cycle and this is towards the end of the cycle. So let's say self review, we do at the same dates, 9th to 16th. We'll keep a longer duration for self review because we have the time. And line manager to employee review. Now, in this case, even if you have the same dates of 16th, it will still allow you to proceed, because we don't want to restrict the line manager to wait for employee to complete review and then do the reviews. So the line manager and the employees can do the review almost at the same time. So there's no restriction there. And post that, I'll go to calibration. Now you can also notice here at each stage, there is a tick mark. Okay, what does this mean? This is basically reminders. Now, you can see here, push notifications and emails will be sent weekly during this period and daily on the last 3 days before the end date. Reminders will only be sent to roles who can create goals until goals have been added. Okay, so again, avoiding you to do manual process, reminders will be sent at every stage. If you don't want to disturb the employees or you don't want to disturb the line managers, you can always uncheck this and reminders will not be sent. But if you check this, you can see that towards the last 3 days, it becomes aggressive because you want them to complete everything as per the timeline. So you can proceed with the cycle. So now we've set everything. Now we will continue. So what do we see here? This is basically just a summary. So you've already completed creating your performance management cycle. This will only take you through what you've done. In case you want to change something, you can go back right to the first page. Okay, so what is the cycle name? Q2 2023 test. Who can create goals? Review types enabled. Who can review? Who can calibrate? Which employees? You can look at those 3 employees that are part. If you have a huge list, you can also search specifically for the employee and you'll be able to see if he or she is a part of it. Okay, what is the scales? You've already defined that these are the 5 scales that you want to rate them on. Okay, and this will be visible to the employee, line manager, super admin on the app, where they'll see each activity. They'll know that, okay, they have only 1 day to set goals. They have 1 day to set goal, to approve the goals. Then there is a self review, which is a timeline. So everything will be visible. And now we finally create the cycle. Once you create, it will give you a confirmation your cycle is created. And you'll be able to see this in the performance section. So you can see it's directing you as to where you can go now. So if it's telling me this, we can directly go out here which was empty earlier, click on goals, and now you'll be able to see it's no more empty. We have this available. Okay. Just going through the slide. Any questions so far? If you have any questions, you can just put it across now. If not, you can raise your hand and we'll proceed. Thank you so much. Okay, now goal creation for HR managers and line managers. So creating goals for your team members on the desktop version of Bayzat. There are three ways. You can create goal for each of your employees one at a time. You can copy goals from one employee to another. If your team all have the same goals, you can bulk create. Okay, so if you have 100 employees and you have the same goals, you don't have to individually keep adding goals for them. You can in one bulk create it for the entire organization. You can also copy goals. If you have say 5 employees and you feel that employee A has the same goals as employee B and C, you can just simply copy those goals. So we're trying to avoid any manual effort for you. You can just create it once and then just copy, bulk create, all accessible. The number of goals can be unlimited, but the total weight of the goals must be equal to 100. Now, what does this mean? Okay. As a simple example, let's say you have 3 goals, and in those 3 goals, there could be one a competency goal, one will be your outcome goal, and one personal development. Now, if your outcome goal is more important, let's say achieving 10,000 US dollar is more important than a personal development goal. Okay, this means that this is the priority you're giving that goal. So let's say personal development goal will be 50%. Outcome goal will be 50% and rest of the two will be 25-25. I'll show you how this works on the platform. Okay, so now we are here. You can see it's in upcoming because we're starting on 1st May. Okay, now you can see that these are all on draft stage. There's no approval, nothing approved because we haven't created any goal yet. Okay, so in this case, I will take Nathan demo account to create the goals. So if I create goal. Okay, now you can see if there are 2 options here. You have create goal and you have copy goal from another employee. Now let's see what happens when I click on copy goal. Now you see there's nothing because we haven't created any goal for anyone yet. So let's create goals for the Nathan demo account. So let's say first goal is achieve US dollar 10,000. Okay, description is optional. You can leave it blank, you can add it. Goal type, it's also optional. I usually like to put it just for, when you have your reports generated, it's easier for you to filter. Start date, we'll keep the same, which is the duration of your cycle. And let's say I give this 50%. Okay, so I create it. Now, if I put this, it will not allow me to proceed further because the total weight is only 50%. Okay. Total weight must be equal to 100 before employees can confirm their goal. So it will not give any notification. It will still be right here. It will only proceed if you add additional goals. Okay, so you can also edit the weight if you don't want to create more goals and just change this to 100. It will proceed. And let's create one more goal. Attend 3 webinars on decision making, for example. Okay, again, this one could be personal development goal. And let's say I put this also as 50 right now, and I create goal. Now you see automatically goal is successfully created. You get a confirmation. If you click here and go back to your goals, you'll be able to see now it has gone to pending employee confirmation stage. Okay. Now, also taking through quickly, let's say if I want to create a goal for Barack Obama and his goals are exactly the same as Nathan demo account. If you see here, I create goal. Now, if I copy, it will allow me to copy from Nathan demo account. Okay, so it doesn't need a confirmation. You can copy it and keep it and then send it across. Okay, if I want to bulk create a goal, so you have an option here. You bulk create. Okay, create goals. Again, simple. Let's say again achieve $5,000, for example. Again, outcome goal. Okay, and let's say I'll just put it as 100 because we'll just create one for now. Continue, and simple again, you just have to select your employees. Now in this cycle, I can only see 3 because I've added 3. But when you have more employees added to your cycle, you can just click add all, it will add all your employees. Let's say I continue and I can create goals, okay, for these employees, as simple. Okay, now going back to the PPT, meanwhile, I will just also access this on my application. So just give me a moment. Now, what did I basically do right now was, as soon as I created the goals, if you remember on the platform, it said pending employees confirmation, right? Now, when we have a pending employee confirmation, directly, this is how it is visible to me on the mobile application as well. So your employees will have this visibility on the platform. So employees can create goals for themselves on the app or desktop version of Bayzat. Once goals have been created either by the employees or managers, the goals have to be confirmed, which is what I just did. I just confirmed the goals. And once the goals are confirmed, they cannot be edited. So your employees will be seeing this in the work section. There is performance. They will see this page. They will see the goals. Okay, they will view, suggest, and edit if they want to put a comment that, okay, let's say closing 30 deals is not possible, for example, or maybe the employee feels that, no, I can do more, I can do 50 deals or 60 deals. Okay, they can just put a comment here and the line manager or super admin can edit and change those goals. Now, once you confirm, then the goals, it will give you a small warning message that you've reviewed and you understand your goals and you can then proceed. Okay. Now, goal approval. Now in this, once the goals are confirmed, managers will receive an email notification to approve the goals. If managers make edit to the goals post employee confirmation, they'll be asked to confirm these goals again. So at every point, whoever makes, whether the employee or the line manager super admin makes edits, it will still need to be confirmed once again, because at the end of the cycle, you don't want any confusion where something was not confirmed or, this was not discussed. So everything only goes through when it is confirmed. Okay, goals can be approved on the desktop version of the app. Okay, and once goals are approved, tracking against these goals can now begin. Okay, so now what is progress tracking? We will take you through. So once goals are set, progress towards these goals can be tracked. Okay, so employees can update the status of their goals. HR managers and line managers can also update the status. Everyone can leave comments. All this activity is recorded. Now, how this is important? Let's say, for example, you have a meeting with the CEO tomorrow, and the CEO would just, I mean, this could be somewhere, if our cycle is from 1st May to July, this could be somewhere maybe in, I'm assuming June, that the CEO would want to know how is the progress, are the employees on track, are they off track, are they able to complete, will they be able to achieve this, the set goals during this period. So this is just a simple progress tracking instead of where it's all done on the application. Okay, for example, I'll just show you on the platform itself. So you can see it's showing pending employee confirmation, but I've already confirmed it. I'll just refresh the screen now and it will move from here. So now it has gone to pending approval. So now this means that the line manager had sent out the goals to Nathan demo account. Nathan demo account has approved and progressed with the goals, and it's come back to the line manager to approve. Now, why we have an additional approval here? You may have this question. This is because the Nathan demo account could also have added one more goal or could have changed certain things. Okay, so the line manager should be aware, or the HR manager should be aware that there are no changes, or if there are any changes. So approve, and now it has moved to approve stage. Okay, so now the progress tracking, which we've been discussing here. So let's say the line manager has a catch up with Nathan, and he wants to know, okay, was Nathan able to achieve $10,000? We are in, our cycle is from May to July. We are in the month of June. And he just wants to know that, okay, what's the progress so far? And Nathan says that, okay, so far in 1 month, I've been able to achieve 3,500 or 4,000. Okay, so you can just put a simple thing here, in progress or maybe partially completed, whatever defines. This cannot be modified. These are already set, but you can always put a comment here. Okay, let's say attending 3 webinars on decision making. So if Nathan said that, you know what, I didn't get the time and my focus was only on this right now, but I will also try and complete this. Okay, so you can just put over here off track or in progress or no updates. You can leave it to that. Now, this can be done on either side. This can be done by the line manager, or it can also be done by the employee. And they can keep commenting here and put whatever comments they are, so need, let's say, in this case, let's take for this case. You can put, I will need additional time here, for example. Just post it. Okay, and automatically you can also edit that. Okay, so now going to reviews and reporting. Okay, now employee reviews can be carried out on the app itself. Okay, now this, what we discussed so far was the first half of the cycle. Now we've come to the second half, which is the review stage. Okay, so employees can start and stop their self-reviews as they want. To help them better evaluate themselves, employees can access their goals, history, and see their catch-ups associated. Along with rating score, employees can add supporting data and additional details. Once employees submit their reviews, they cannot make edits. So as I discussed that, the line manager or the HR manager will also give the employees an option to review themselves. Okay, so in simple terms, you're asking the employee that, okay, how did you perform? Can you rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 5? Okay, so simple, this is how the employee will see it. Start review. Okay, these are the goals. The employee will add, let's say, review exceeds expectation, let's say closed more deals, greatly exceeds, let's say achieve 250,000, increase retention. So these are all the goals that the employee has already reviewed him or herself on. Then there is a summary here in case wants to add additional notes. If he wants, he or she wants to inform that, okay, these are additional things that I've done apart from the goals, or maybe there's a reason they've not achieved and wants to put a reason that, I've not achieved because of whatsoever reason. They can just put it in general notes here. And once they can submit, there'll be a small message coming here saying confirm submission, because once they submit, they'll not be able to edit it further. Okay, so this is a warning that will be given to them, and then they just submit. So that's about it. Once they submit, it will notify that your line manager will evaluate your performance and share the report with you, which means this is a confirmation that it self-review is now done and line manager is showing as a pending right now. Okay, now line manager to employee review. Okay, so managers can complete reviews of their direct reports on the desktop version of the platform. They can start and stop review at any time. Managers can rate the employee's performance and add additional details on their ratings. Once the manager submits their review, it is ready to move to the calibration stage. If there's no line manager assigned to the employee, HR manager can complete the review. Now, what does this mean? Now, we've already seen the employee has done the review. Now, the line manager also needs to review. So if you can see in this small screen grab here, you can see the timeline, the cycle. You can see that there is pending review. So in this case, let's say we take Lyndon Fernandez. Lyndon Fernandez has already submitted employee review, but the line manager has still not done it. Okay, but you can see here there's continue review, which means the line manager would have started. Maybe he got busy with a meeting, okay, and he couldn't complete at that stage. It will automatically get saved as a draft. It will not proceed. It will not, all the effort that the line managers put to review this employee will not get wiped away. Okay. If you see in this case here, Fatima, she's put a note here, there's a remark. Okay, so it shows a small little notification here. In, let's say, Jane Cooper's example here, you can see the line manager is already rated, but the employee is still pending to review. And you can see in Annette Black's case, this is submitted directly by the HR. Let's say the line manager was not available, the HR submitted. So you can see that in the line manager, HR manager's case, either or can submit the reviews. If the line manager is not available, the HR can do it. If the HR is not available, the line manager can do it. Okay, and employees' reviews are also shown here. Now, calibration. I think this is something that I've been pushing towards the end. So what does calibration mean? It's basically we want to limit biasness. So it is to be very fair to the employee and the line manager and other employees within the organization as well. So, and as an example, sometimes line manager will have a very good rapport relationship with the employee and may give a rating basis the relationship and not the actual performance. So we want to avoid that biasness. So what happens here is that once the line manager does the review, once the employee does the review, then the HR manager will also check and give his or her review after the stage. Okay, so that is calibration just to ensure that the rating is fair. So the purpose of the phase is to ensure that evaluation standards are the same across the board. This helps limit bias and drive towards a fair and objective performance review process. Okay, so I'll show you an example here. Calibration key points to note. As an HR manager, you can calibrate reviews on the desktop. If the rating different from the line manager's rating for a goal is selected, it is shown with an adjusted label. During calibration, the HR and line manager can add comments on the review that will not be visible to the employee, and it will be from the view remark activity section. Once calibration is complete, the user can finalize the review. And after reviews are finalized, no further edits can be made to the final rating. If calibration is not required, HR line manager can simply finalize. So it's not mandatory to do calibration. This is, if you feel that you want to add in another step, you can add it. If you do not, then it is, you can just continue that. Okay, so in this case, let's look at this example here. Okay, hit 200,000 in revenue. Employee is Lyndon Fernandez, reports to Mohammed Hassan. Now, in this case, the line manager, which means Mohammed Hassan, has rated Lyndon Fernandez as 3. Employee also has rated him or himself as 3. Okay, but the HR manager has, which means the person who's calibrating has put it as 2. So probably this employee has only hit 200,000, and when it's exceed expectation, it could be 210, 215. So the HR manager has changed that, and you can see it's adjusted here as an adjusted label. I'll show you a quick video on how it looks. So you can see here, there's a calibrate option. The same thing that we discussed goes through the goals. Okay, sees that, okay, what has been achieved, and automatically puts an adjusted sign here. Okay, so this will show up in the report as well, that the report has been adjusted and the rating has now changed. Okay, so the final rating also changes basis that. Okay. So now moving to viewing and sharing the report. So what is the whole reason of this exercise of performance management? Is you also want the employees to learn from the entire duration of this cycle, and it is important to share reports during this phase. So as an HR manager, once your employees' performance reviews are finalized, you can view and share their reports with them. As a line manager, you can view performance reports of employees who directly and indirectly report to you. However, you can only share the performance report with employees who directly report to you. Okay, so as an example here, we have this short video. I'll just show you this. So here you can see share report, and share it with an individual employee, like let's say in this case, Lyndon. Or if you want to share reports with everyone, you can just share. So you can see 25 employees are selected. This could be a line manager who has 25 employees reporting to him or her, or it could also be the HR manager sharing with everyone. Okay, now what is there as a part of this report? Okay, so you can also download this report. So many a times you're more comfortable, having this data also in an Excel CSV format, where if you want to work on, say, pivots, or you want to work on certain graphs or charts, you can use this data. So in the report, we give you employees' names, number of goals, goal status, reports to which line manager, which office, which department, what's the self-evaluation score, line manager score, post-calibration score, and was the report shared, yes or no. So you'll get all these data points in one sheet. So it's very simple. You can see there's a download report option here. So this was sharing reports and here is downloading reports. So it will give you an entire report of all the employees. Finally, coming to catch-ups. So catch-ups was recently introduced. Basically, we realized that in every organization, once the performance management is cycle is complete, once the reports are shared, you can't just end there. There are also catch-ups where you want to meet up with the employee, discuss this report with him or her, and understand, okay, what were the pain points during that exercise, or if they have done something great, if they could share what was the drive for them to achieve a higher target. So what we thought is, let's integrate this as a part of the platform where you can now directly you can directly set up catch-ups with the employees. Okay, so you can see here there's a catch-up here. I'll also take you to the platform on how it looks. Logging catch-ups, employees can log one-on-one catch-ups between themselves and their co-workers. Select the employee they caught up with, choose the date, type in the topic, link the catch up with the goals. So if you have a cycle already, you don't have to type in everything. You can just select those goals and you can discuss. So let's say in our case, you want to discuss something with relating to the achievement of US $10,000. If the employee is not achieved, you can just select that and discuss it. I'll show you on the platform as well. Add notes and multiple attachments. You can see there's a section here. You can add notes. You can attach. Let's say you're more comfortable writing notes on a piece of paper, but you want to record it as well on the platform. You can just write it, take a picture and upload it here. It will be visible. And make it private or keep it public. So if you want to make it private, if you want this to be a catch up only between you and the employee, it will be visible to the employee, line manager, and the HR manager. So the HR manager will have access entirely. But if you don't want other line managers or other employees, not employees, actually other line managers not to see it, you can just make this a private catch up. Okay. And viewing catch-ups, as an HR manager, you can see all employees' public catch-ups by going to the performance tab. HR managers can add comments and see the edit history. Catch-ups can also be filtered by goal or employee name. Okay, so I'll show you quickly on the platform as well. So there are two places where catch-ups can be seen. One is if the employee wants to have a catch-up with the line manager. Okay. So the employee will, as you know, that the employee will only see this section on the application. They will not have visibility on any of these sections. So let's say Nathan wants to have a catch up with his line manager. Just clicks on my performance. There's a catch up section here and just record a catch up and click it here. Let's say me as a line manager or HR manager wants to have a chat with. Yeah, let's see. Okay, automatically you can see here in the personal profile section, there's performance, catch-ups, and you can record. Okay, so let's record one catch-up for now. Okay, this is grayed out because we've selected only one employee here. A date I want to have a catch-up on, let's say I do this catch-up on 15 June towards the end of the cycle. Topic, you can add a topic relevant. So let's say performance appraisal, for example. Okay. Now you can see in this, it's already giving me a drop down because I'm a part of this cycle. Okay. It's already giving me a drop down as to which goal I want to discuss. Whether I want to discuss this or both, you can select that. Okay. Now you also have an option to select a template. Okay. So we've already defined 3 templates and these are the only 3 that we have available. Now, why these templates are to make it easier for you. You don't have to type out. Let's say if I want to have performance review, automatically you'll see that some notes are generated. Okay, so now if I'm sending a catch-up request now for 15 June, I want to have a meaningful catch-up, right? I don't want that I have a catch-up and then Nathan takes time to think on what happened. So you already give him points on what will be discussed. So he can come prepared, right? So what is the agenda? Comments on performance again goal, what went well, what didn't go well, what we learned, what are the wins, strengths, and opportunities, what are the areas of improvement, concerns, questions, and clarifications. You can edit this entirely. If you want to delete this, you want to add some other point, you can do that as well. You can remove this entirely. This is just to guide you. If you want to change it entirely, you can do that too. And if you want to make it a private catch-up, you can do that as well. You can just go ahead and save it. So I'm getting an error message. Catch-up recorded employee and recorded with employee cannot be the same. So I think because I'm the super admin and I'm doing it through my own account, that's why I'm not able to. But if you do it, you'll be able to do it for an employee because I'm using Nathan demo account and I'm creating the catch-up for Nathan demo account. So that's why it's not permitting me. For now, we'll cancel it. So that's about it for today's session. Upcoming features, catch-ups we've already launched, which we've already gone through. And feedback, also we've realized that feedback is important, not only between the line manager and employee, but between employees and employees as well. So we'll be launching this soon. It's already in the testing stage. And yes, that's about it. Thank you all for joining in. Any questions that you may have, I'll be here for about 2 to 3 more minutes. If you have anything, you can just raise your hand and put it in the Q&A box. If not, you're free to log off from the webinar, and I'll be sharing this recording post the session. Thank you all. Okay, we have a question now. What's the difference between calibration and catch-ups? Okay, so calibration is basically the stage, as I explained, there is employee review, there's a line manager review, and then there's a calibration between that. Okay, so calibration is just a rating that the HR manager or the performance manager or the super admin will give beyond what is beyond what has already been rated by the employee and the line manager. Okay, catch up is when you have a detailed discussion. When once the performance is complete, the line manager or HR manager will want to catch up and discuss, because in calibration you're only allowed to give a rating and some comments over there, right? But in the catch up, you will a catch up could last for maybe as short as 15 minutes, or it could go for an hour, just to have a detailed discussion. So that's the difference between calibration. Calibration is just to be fair. Did I answer your question? If not, do let me know. Great. Cool. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in today, and have a lovely day ahead. I'll be sending this recording. Even post this, if you have any doubts, any questions, you can always reach out to your customer success manager, or you can also use the chat button, and you will get a quick response there. Thank you all. Have a lovely day.